The only word I can use to describe what we're going to talk about is I saw it live and my heart sank. And the first words out of my mouth were, oh no. We're talking about Tua Tagovailoa, concussion, Thursday night football, fluke injury, but he got hurt on a mad scramble. And people immediately say, why the hell don't you slide? He's scrambling out of trouble trying to get the first down marker, and he went head first. He did not get speared, but he went head first into a cornerback who was about to make the tackle, and he hit the cornerback's shoulder pads. And you got the cornerback going full force to make the tackle. Tua hit him in the shoulder pads. His neck snapped, and he went down. And the scariest thing to see is right as he went down, you could tell that he either injured a neck or had a head injury because his hand went up in the air and was doing this. And that had happened before, a couple of years ago when he got hurt. And it scared the daylights out of me. This is where we are with Tua as of Monday afternoon. He's now had 3 concussions in 24 months. He's had 5 head injuries in the National Football League. He's had a total of 13 major injuries since he played at the University of Alabama. And, after he had the back-to-back concussions 2 years ago in 2022, he went through a real different learning curve in which they really taught him hard about staying in the pocket. And if you have to scramble, go out of bounds or go feet first. But in this case, John, I just think it's the instinct of the player took over. And he's trying to get to the first down marker, and he dives rather than go feet first, which probably would not have gotten the first down. But that's just the instinct of the player competing to forget about what he was taught over the last calendar year and do it. It's really scary. Mike McDaniels, the head coach, very upset. He's got a good relationship with Tua intellectually, in addition to football. Very upset at the media. Almost chastising the media. Don't ask me about his future. Don't ask me about whether he should retire. This is his decision. It's his life. And we need the input from the neurologist and from the NFL doctors, and then follow the protocol. But don't bring that up. He got really upset. And then he got furious the next day when Antonio Pierce, the Raiders' mouthy coach, said he should retire. And then he got upset when the head coach down in Jacksonville, Doug Peterson, said, if it were my quarterback, I would tell him to retire. And then he got upset when Shannon Sharpe went on ESPN and says there's more to life than just football on Sundays. And other players since then have come public and said, family first, not football. So everybody's got an opinion about Tua. But it flashed me back to what happened when I was the voice of the Chargers. Got to know Stan Humphries really well. Humphries, of course, led the Chargers to the Super Bowl. Stan had a really good short career of productivity after coming over from the Redskins as a Bobby Beathard acquisition. For all the things that he accomplished in the course of his career, it took one snap, one hit to end his career. We're in Cincinnati, 2 years removed from the Super Bowl, and the team was starting to rebuild. They lost all their offensive linemen because of knee injuries. Stan was hanging in the pocket. He was one tough hombre. He'd trade a shot in the pocket for a shot to make plays down the field. He took a shot in Cincinnati. Raynard Wilson, linebacker pass rushing specialist, ran right over him. Stan went backwards, cracked his head on the turf. It wasn't that Wilson hit him helmet to helmet. It was just boom. He steamrolled him. Stan never recovered. He had headaches. He had problems with his eyes. He could not handle light. He had some memory loss along the way. And at that point, at the end of that season, he said, I can no longer play because I can no longer function. And that was from one hit. He had never, ever had a concussion before. And that flashed back after I saw Tua go down neck first into the back of the turf and saw that arm shoot up as if he was crippled and paralyzed. I thought of Stan Humphries. I'm not going to say what the young man should do, but when you've had these recurring issues, in essence, you become concussion prone. It's easier to get hurt the second time, easier to have it happen a third time. And we know quarterbacks are going to get hit. And we know that some may be a violent act, some might be unintentional, some might be just bad luck going down. You hit a player's knee, or in this case, you hit a shoulder, or you get spun around and you hit your head at the wrong angle on hard turf. I don't know what he's going to do, but I think his career is really in jeopardy because he's become concussion prone. That's my impression, what I saw, how I reacted to it, how bad I feel, because he's a pretty good young football player. John Riley's perspective.
Yeah, you hate to see this. I mean, it was a really sad story. To your point about when you have one, the second one is easier to get. He got hit, but it wasn't like a destructive hit. It just seems like he's more apt to get concussions now. So a medium-sized hit to him is like a big one. And so you took it. It's weird how everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. He should retire. He should do this. You should do that. I agree with you. Let him make his own decision. It's his life, his career. And it's possible that he may love football so much that he might want to still continue to play, even though he knows he's at risk. Because some guys are like that. I mean, their whole identity is wrapped up into the sport. He'll make the decision on what's best for him. He'll get good advice from medical people, from family, from coaches. But we just got to let it play out. And I love his coach. The coach is handling it perfectly with the media.
I would assume that this is probably a 6 to 8 week thing for evaluation and recovery.
Yeah.
And there'll be all types of protocol and tests that he will have to go through and pass. Not only is it the neurologists that will give them the scouting report about severity of concussion, the ability to come back from this concussion, then he's got to go through the NFL team doctors protocols at the league office level as to whether or not they recommend he should be allowed. And then the Dolphins people will handle it as a third tier of information. But it was a fluke injury. And the weirdest part, the guy that made the tackle is Damar Hamlin, the one that nearly died on the football field from the heart attack 2 years ago in Buffalo. Just absolutely amazing story.
Coincidence there.
Yeah, very strange. So if you got an opinion on Tua, what should he do? You got an opinion about the league? See, I don't think, because the game is so big and so fast and so physical and so strange, I don't think you can do that. Now, if he'd been wearing the Guardian cap, would the blow to the head have been a little bit different, because a Guardian cap would have diffused the power of the back of his head hitting the turf? Might have. Is this a prime example? I was told there's only 4 guys in the league that are wearing Guardian caps in the regular season. 4 guys.
Just 4, because it doesn't look cool, probably. But I would imagine that the hit that he took, even if he was wearing the Guardian cap, I don't think it probably would have made much difference, because all I can picture is somebody's brain sort of rattling around inside the skull. And if you're already bruised and you've got other problems going on in there, you could have extra padding, but that's not going to resist the jostling of your brain inside the bone.
Except though that the Guardian cap is thick, and the Guardian cap would have diffused the force of the head.
Okay, maybe a little, yeah.
So something to consider down the road. If you're an NFL fan, you saw it, a pretty scary hit. Join us in Fans Forum. We'd like to hear what you've got to say.